All right, Raycevick, a way out. 10 seconds later. What do you got? Hit me with your feelings.
I'm glad I played it.
You're a terrible reviewer. That's your whole thing?
Yeah, no, it's a. I think here's the thing. It's rare that I get to play a game where I haven't really played like something like this before.
Yeah, that's true. The split screen, it seemed like a gimmick at first, but they actually utilized it in like a decent way. And at some point, you almost forget that it is split screen, right? Like,
I didn't really notice while playing. And the other thing too is like, don't get me wrong, there's moments like the Streets of Rage fight scene or the Connect 4 or the cop chases that are just like, this game is very silly in many places. But basically, I'm glad that it exists because this is what it kind of reminds me of. This is what the middle market used to do. It used to give these experiences that, yes, they weren't perfect. Yes, they made you laugh when they were trying to make you cry and like there's all this other stuff. But this could not happen in the AAA industry. No one would ever think of making a game like this if it was Call of Duty or Battlefield or anything that's like hundreds of millions of dollars in production. And that to me that's what the middle market is meant to do.
This is like when there's a world full of like heavy music stars. This is the indie band that you found that you really dig their first couple albums. Like,
exactly, yeah.
What a weird metaphor, even though it's literally the exact same thing if you just replace the word music with games. But no, I think my biggest thing is just like this. There's a lot of funny moments that kind of take away from the seriousness, but that didn't change how I felt at the end because it really puts you in it from the point that you land. Well, actually, really, from the point that you land in Mexico, like, the entire thing is a seriousness. So you at least get into that kind of moment, whereas, before, like, I'm about to go see my kid with my wife, who we have a struggling relationship, but I'm playing 3 games of Connect 4. Like, what I'm saying?
And we're balancing fucking wheelchairs.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but
exactly.
It's a tough thing, because without that levity, I don't think that third act would hit nearly as hard.
No, because it's like I said this before, I think, when I first started, that a lot of it is this type of game, you can't really review this game objectively because it's all about how you experienced it with the person you were playing with. So if you had fun with that person and you grow that connection with them. So if we didn't have fun during this game and we hated it the whole time, we wouldn't give a shit about the ending. But because we played the banjo and because we balanced in wheelchairs and because we arm wrestled for 2.5 minutes...
and because we fell down an empty elevator shaft.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, because of those things, because of that lighter tone or that silliness, that the bond comes from there, and that's what makes its ending hit harder. Yeah, no, it's just the fact we're having this conversation. It's like that to me is valuable, and that to me, I would rather this game be flawed and do what it does rather than it being a perfected formula of something we've gotten 1,000 times
If it was just
before.
like an LA Noire thing where there wasn't any laughs, it was very serious, we were just two criminals breaking out of prison, the charm wouldn't be there. I think there definitely is a charm to it, even if the charm
There's absolutely a charm to this game.
Even if sometimes the charm is the faults of the game itself. I feel like the game is pretty self-aware. It knows that some of the things it's doing is pretty cliche, and that helps it a lot.
Yeah, like you could tell that when they did that dual slow motion bike flip over the jumps of the cars, they're not sitting there going, "Oh yeah, this is a really emotional moment." Sorry, no, it's Joseph Ferris walked in the forest with, "Let's blow some shit up."
No, and I, like I said, I respect when a game can be self-aware, because there are so many games out there that take themselves too seriously and they lose sight of what they're making a game for. It's for the people, not for the money. Although, I mean, that's depending on who you talk to and ask. But no, like I said, there's definitely a charm to it. I very much enjoy the aspect of having someone else. And I feel like it's a game where I played this with you now. I could pick this up with like another person and play it all over again, because we would have different experiences, right? Everything's a little bit unique in how you follow it.
Yeah, even though the game's story is linear, and even though there are a lot of the sequences are scripted, it's that dynamicism as you're playing it with somebody that is what makes its moments work.
Yeah.
And if you don't have a person there that is taking those moments, even in the lighthearted tone, then it's not going to work.
Well, yeah, but it's like I think you were saying earlier, like, especially with like the wheelchair balancing and the Connect 4 and stuff. Like, if you don't have someone who's willing to have fun with you, it's not going to be a fun experience. But if you have someone
if you're
who's
going
okay
through the
with,
game
like,
trying to Yeah, if you're like trying to strategize on breaking out of prison and you're like trying to take the stealth mechanics seriously and you're trying to, shoot to kill and all that type of stuff, then yeah, no, it's mechanics. They're not going to hold up under that scrutiny because that's not the game's point. It's not its point to be a stealth game or a heist game or a shooter game.
Yeah, and I think a lot of when I first heard this game and I saw like the trailers for it and stuff and the announcement at E3, that's the first thing I thought of. I'm like, oh, it's going to be like a shooter. It's going to be like a really fun thing. It's going to be co-op. But now that I see it, I kind of wish they advertised it a little bit differently. I think it's going to sell. It sold well regardless. But to me, the game really is just about like a fun co-op experience that you can't get anywhere else because it is unique. We've said that already, but it's completely. There's nothing else like this right now.
No, the closest I'd say that comes to it is like maybe the Splinter Cell co-ops where you two had to like do specific actions.
Well, I'm thinking. Yeah, I was thinking like not quite the same level, but it's got that same kind of camaraderie as like Borderlands almost. If Borderlands was a little less open world and a little more linear, because it allows you to do different things and do different things to accomplish the same kind of goal. But it also just has a lot of moments where you can just like control the pace of the game and dick around and do whatever you want.
Yeah, there's that. The reason like I think of like the Splinter Cell stuff is that in that game there's things like one character gets, is like a human ladder and the other characters use him. And that's where it mainly uses its two-player gimmick.
I've never played Splinter Cell, but I get what you mean.
Like
you have two,
it's
you're doing
similar to like
things
the
but
two
accomplishing the same task.
Yeah, it's the two people like the same way that we would have to like hoist each other up and stuff like that.
I think my biggest issue with the game would just be, and this is probably like really, I don't know the word I'm looking for. It starts with a P. Petty. That's the word I'm looking for. Is the gameplay is not split very well. I feel like you had way more fun than I did. And I understand that's a difference of characters. I also understand that at any point we could have switched what characters we were playing, but I felt like that would have been less genuine if we kind of switched. But I'm going to go back single player with two controllers plugged in, and I'm going to do that, the side-scrolling fight part, because that seemed like so much fun. And you got all of those.
So out of left field.
Oh yeah, you got so many shooting parts and like all these cool climbing stuff. And I was playing the pacifist, which I don't mind. But from a gameplay perspective, I just wish they added a little bit more for me to do besides tap X while you're having fun.
I feel like there's definitely potential for. I think there's potential for this game to age poorly, but in a proper way. And what I mean by that is there's an opportunity here for someone else to expand on this. Like I'm thinking, just as an example, a game where it requires two people to play it and has a split screen aspect, but there's 4 characters they can pick from instead. And depending on which combination of characters you use, you go down a different path. Like just as an example, like that's something that like someone could expand on. Like this is basically now a template or a blueprint that now has been founded, other people can work around.
Yeah, it's definitely something that could
really
start
good.
a genre, but I think you have to be careful about it, because I think if you go too serious or you go too funny, you're going to lose the genuineness of it.
Well, that's the thing. It's like this game, oddly enough, does have a balance in its own. It's just, it doesn't feel like it while you're in the middle of playing it, but oddly enough, it does. When you contrast Acts 1, 2, and 3, you can definitely see why the lighthearted moments are there in the beginning, which is to disarm you for the third act.
Oh, yeah, because even the stuff in prison is pretty lighthearted, all things considering, and it was pretty fun while we were doing it. But then as we got to the second act, they were setting up some serious stuff, but they still left some moments for us. But then by the third act, it was complete seriousness, but we were kind of ready for it. We were in that right emotional state, because we weren't laughing 10 minutes before. I mean, we were, but normal people aren't laughing before.
And there are those moments, too, that are just awesome. Like, when, like, I love the way that it takes advantage of the co-op stuff. Like, when you get to kill the bad guy, both of you get to unload all
Harvey,
your weapons in there.
whatever,
And it does it very intentionally.
Oh, yeah, no, it's good. Sometimes you just need moments to shoot people that are already dead. I wish, I mean, well, no, I guess we already kind of know a little bit more about Emily because we knew she was a cop. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't go too far into people's backstory. Some of the conversations are a little bit weird, but, I mean, besides that, writing was good, voice acting was fine. I didn't have any major issues with it. I'm curious now while editing this to see if there's anything weird with Vincent while he's making phone calls and stuff like that. Like, I know he made the one phone call to Emily when he's in the booth and just says, I need to get somewhere. So that's obviously him talking to the police or whatever. But I'm
Yeah.
curious if there's any hints, or for the most part, it's genuinely just him acting like a criminal and not revealing until the very end. But by the way, did you see the plot twist coming at all, or were you like me, where as I said it with 2 minutes left?
I was more like, when is the kind of thing where I wasn't shocked, but basically the way it worked is that
You're expecting something.
when they said it, I'm like, yes, please keep going this direction because this is way better than it just stopping.
Yeah. You expected something. The game, it definitely sets you up for a plot twist ending.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure as we were playing it, I was like listing out 15 different possibilities as the plane was landing. But I think that was that was a good way to go about it, because even if people saw it coming, it's still I don't think people would expect the game to continue for 20 minutes after that, right? And that's it has part.
Well, yeah, and it has that entire section. It has a great many implications as well.
Yeah.
So like that's the thing. It's like when you realize, oh, he's an undercover cop, that means this and this and this, and how am I going to get out and blah blah blah. And no, that's cool. That's cool to have.
And then the one thing that you had an issue with was there's an ending. There was no option to not kill each other at the ending. But once again, to your point, most people would probably pick that because you're playing this with a friend. You created this bond over this however 10-hour game.
So why would you kill each other?
Why would you want anyone want to do that option? It'd be like Life is Strange. It'd be like a 10%, 10%, 80%.
I don't think you've played Grand Theft Auto 5 all the way through.
I've never played it at all. But I
Grand Theft Auto 5. Its ending is kind of similar, where basically you have these two choices that are just like, why on earth would you pick them?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a kind of disparity where it's like there's this one option that like 95% of the player base pick because it's like it's just clearly the more sense. And not only is it just like a better option, it just makes more sense story.
I don't want to say it.
In terms of,
I don't want to say it because I know it'll spark a 90-minute conversation, but I'm gonna say it anyways. Compared to like the Mass Effect 3 ending, where you just have like 3 choices and like neither of them, like none of them are what you want to do.
Yeah.
Whereas with this one, you have 2 choices.
Actually, there's a 4th option added in the patch that allows you to kill the universe because, you know, that's satisfying.
You know what the best ending is? Is when you get to that part, turn off the game.
Yeah. That's my canon ending.
My canon ending is my computer shut down. Whoops. Oh well.
Shepard going, oh man, I would have done something if his computer didn't crash.
The player is inactive, so I'll stand here forever and enjoy this moment. Well, Raycevick, thank you for joining me on this lovely A Way Out journey. I hope that you'll join again soon. We'll find another co-op game maybe down the road that is highly...
No, I'm done. Never coming back again.
Great, thanks for being here. Yeah. Cool.
Okay, seriously, I'm gonna go like write and edit and do some shit. But that was
fun.
No,
that was fun. Like I said, thanks for joining us, or me, I suppose. If any of your viewers came over and watched, cool. Probably not, because I don't think anyone likes you that much. But hopefully we find another co-op game in the future that we want to tackle, and we'll do this all over again. Final rating out of 5 stars.
Fuck the Oscars.
Out of 5 stars. What do you give your final rating?
I give it a fuck the Oscars.
You give it a fuck the Oscars out of 5. Sounds good. I will give it a screw the Oscars out of 5 because I'm a little more PG.
Eat a dick.
And we end the series on Eat a Dick.